In Brooklyn, week 3 of the Big 3 season rolls on from Barclays Center. Our 4th game features Bivouac and the enemies here from the borough of Brooklyn. 3 down and 3 to go today. Our remaining games here on Big 3 TV. Teams with Killer 3s and Aliens, then the Ball Hogs and the Ghost Ballers. And welcome, I'm in Cohen with someone who's in a good mood. Team got a win earlier today. Lisa Leslie, triplets winners here in Brooklyn this afternoon.
And I am so excited. Listen, it's been a party here in Brooklyn. Wherever the Big 3 is, there's excitement. But as a coach, I'm always happy when I win, no matter what weekend it is.
You guys are 2-1. Big Fight gets the top of the standings in this one today. Our rosters for this 4th game. Bivouac, they're 1-1. Enemies also 1-1, but Isaiah Austin out today for the enemies.
Yeah, the enemies are really going to have to step up with having 4 players, and sometimes that doesn't hurt you in the first half, but you can see the remedies of that and how it can weigh on you in the second half. So they're really going to have to use their timeouts. Gilbert Arenas really needing to be able to manage that in order to have enough energy to finish in the second half.
There's the glove. Eric Payton, your number 2, leading Bivouac. On the other side, for the enemies today, no Gilbert Arenas says their coach, so Swaggy P, player and coach Nick Young, doing the honors today.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, then that's sometimes a little bit of a challenge as well, because Nick Young has to also sub himself in and not forget that they're missing a player today.
The Trojans know how to multitask.
Let's go. Fight on.
Key rules in the Big 3. First 50 wins. It's the break at 25. There's no game clock. Shot clock is 14 seconds. Free throws, 1 shot for 2, 3, or 4 points. And they say the 4-point shot, you make it from one of 3 4-point circles. It's worth 4 big ones.
4 big ones, and that's been the beauty of the Big 3. Having that 4-point shot, I know it's definitely helped my team triplets, but also I love the bring the fire. Those are 2 of my favorite elements of the Big 3.
Let's do it. Quincy Miller with the early 3 for the enemies.
He gonna be jiggy with it after he made his shot. He said he was ready. You better be up.
Miller, Stewart, Crawford for the enemies. 3 is good. Making 2. Gerald Green, Bivouac.
And Gerald Green's been really an outstanding shooter all season. He's done a really good job of looking for the 3 ball. And he's come out on fire already.
Green with Brewer and Ryan Hollins. Miller on a step back. Nails another one. That's 2 for 2.
Okay, so Quincy gonna reach in his bag today. He's talking trash. This is what motivates him. Some of these guys just love to talk trash, and the crowd really gets them going. And Quincy Miller's definitely one of those players.
Brewer putting on the moves. Step around. No. Second effort. Yes, for Corey Brewer.
And when you talk about Corey Brewer, his length, his defense, he is really, I believe, the engine, if you will, behind Bivouac and their ability to get wins really starts with Corey Brewer.
He scored 17 last week. Loss against the 3-headed monsters.
I think Gerald Green was too close to the basket.
So Hollins with the rebound. Green off the screen. 2 is left for 3. Too much. An air ball. Crawford off the bounce. Drills it for the enemies.
Yeah, Crawford's been shooting the ball so well. He loves to drive, but he hit the game winner last week. Don't sleep on Crawford and his ability to shoot the 3 ball.
At least enemies with 3 early threes. Brewer with the left and the stuff. A lot of action early in this one.
This pace is a little bit different. I think this pace really benefits Bivouac more because they have players that are interchangeable, and they also have some subs today, as opposed to the enemies who are missing one of their key players.
A shot clock violation on the enemies. No Austin for the enemies, so for Bivouac, they like to go small. What does that mean in this one today without Austin?
Well, you know, Austin's such a versatile big. He can shoot the 3 ball, he can back you down, he can shoot over the top. And with him being out, that gives Crawford a little bit of advantage. Who's tall, he can take the ball to the basket. Miller, not quite the same shot blocker as Austin. So I would say it'd be to Bivouac's advantage to really attack the basket.
Jordan Crawford with it. Great week last week. Dallas hits another 3. He's got 2 enemies with 4 4 threes and a 12-8 start here in Brooklyn.
Well, as you can see, GP is not happy over there on the sideline talking to his players, and it's all because of Crawford. Whether it's the 3 long range, you better get a hand up, or that's going to be a long night for Bivouac.
Here in Brooklyn, Bivouac getting a point. Gerald Green ruled to made it 3, not a 2 earlier, so enemies by 3 early in this one. Well, triplets earlier today with the win here in Brooklyn. Lisa Leslie was mic'd up.
Back screen and turn back around and back screen for him. You got that? So when you come this way, if you're open, Joe will see you.
Well, Lisa, this is the bio. Gold medals, great run with the Sparks, Hall of Famer, but also Big 3 title in 2019. And now you guys are 2-1. Chairman Pargo, terrific again today against ISO with ISO Joe.
It was such a great game. I thought we did a great job of executing our game plan. Playing against the undefeated Tri-State was quite a challenge for us, and I thought we really stepped up big, especially in the second half.
Easy to talk about, but to get 2 early wins in this league, that's big through 3 weeks.
It is big, and I felt like even week 1, we lost to Bivouac. We were up by, I think, about 14 points, and we gave up that lead. So I really felt like we won even in the first week, but we learned a lot about ourselves. And, you know, listen, Bivouac's a tough team. Gerald Green, as well as his brother out there, Garland Green, they just really shot the lights out in week 1.
Ryan Hollins with the first assist today. Thomas Scott, Big 3 director of player development, give him an assist as well. You could have done that as well, I think.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Stewart with the foul against Hollins posting up here in the early going.
Well, this is a good idea. Bivouac's really trying to take advantage of the size difference. When they switch on to Hollins, you have Stewart, who's small, and Hollins just needs to catch that ball and put it in the basket, but easier said than done with the defense from Stewart.
Green fades away too much. Crawford's made 2 threes. Miller as well. Crawford in the lane, runners good. First 2-point shot for the enemies.
I like Crawford's game. Enemies 4 for 4 from 3, but Crawford really putting so much pressure on the defense with his ability to drive. He has kind of an old school game, don't you think, Ed? Like, I mean, super cool, smooth. Ooh, and Stewart goes and gets that off the glass. I really like the way Crawford plays within his game. Very smooth.
Miller's going to get a free throw for 2 for Crawford. Last week, 22. He was 10 of 12 in that win for the enemies. And Stewart, as you mentioned, with the rejection.
With the rejection, the Trojan goes up high. You got to remember, Stewart's one of those younger players, so he still has a lot of spring. Even though he's not one of the taller guys, his verdict is definitely still there. So that was a nice block by Stewart.
I like the second USC reference.
Yes, let's go. There's a few Trojans out here, by the way, you know.
Mr. Miller, or rather Stewart, Mr.
Stewart,
Young.
Mr. Young, who is playing coach right now, so he needs to sub in.
Who was in your seat earlier today, Mr. Scalabrini.
Scalabrini, there you go. You're surrounded by Trojans. Let's go. Right on. Here we go. Oh, Stewart in his bag. What? Crawford?
Crawford to the rim with the crossover and the finish.
Crawford with the crossover and the finish. Again, I talked about his game. Knocking it out from 3 ball has really opened up the court, but he can get to the basket just like he did.
Bivouac down 7. Green, no. It'll go to the line for a 2-point shot for Bivouac.
Yeah, but I was talking about Crawford in his bag with the nice crossover going baseline. There's no help defense, and why? Because Miller is on the outside. You also see Stewart there. He's surrounded by shooters, and that puts a lot of pressure on the defense. Bivouac not there to make that rotation defensively.
Green with the 2. By the way, Green last week let his hair out. This week he's tied it back. He said it got away in the first half, and his Bivouac lost. So
I saw that. Last week he was like the Lion King, but he came in today like he's the king. Let's go.
Crawford again. Another 3.
Okay.
Crawford feeling good here in Brooklyn.
Okay, Crawford, I see you. Crawford said, I'm home. I'm here in Brooklyn. I'm going to put on the show. Love it. There he is with a nice defensive effort, getting a hand on the ball. Corey Brewer not happy with it, but Crawford looking good. And the enemies really need that. They're looking for a win. Bivouac's been playing well as well. This is a very good matchup.
Crawford with 13. Brewer, no. Gets the rebound. Stewart, nearly a block, but instead Brewer will go to the line for a 2-point shot.
And that's what I was talking about with Corey Brewer. You know, every team has a hustle man. And right now, as Nick decides he wants to bring the fire. This is truly my favorite part, Ed. I get so excited. Tell him about Bring the Fire, Ed.
Nick Young was waiting to get a shot to bring the fire as the active coach. All right, bring the fire. If we get a stop or if Brewer gets fouled, no points. If Brewer scores or is fouled, count it. Brewer with the finish against Stewart.
And Bring the Fire is very challenging because it's for one, when you're on defense, you got to really play strong defense because the officials very seldom call a foul first off. So it's not an advantage for the defense to really try to play strong. Offensively, you just want to get to the basket the best you can, whether you need a pump fake, a step through, whatever it takes to try to get the and one. Whether you make the basket or you get fouled, those two things are very beneficial for the offense. But what I love most about it is that we're in the middle of a game, and then there's a game within the game, and that's what Bring the Fire is. You bring the fire because, listen, if you are a coach and you don't like the call, that's your opportunity to say, hey, let's just play like we're on the playground one-on-one, and I love it.
Oh, Nick Young is mic'd up, and I think he's going to keep the earpiece on, but the mic, hey, got to play, right?
He's got to play. I don't even know why you mic'd up. Like, listen, you got to be a coach right now. You got to be a player. Your team needs you. They're up 19-13. Let's see if Nick can help open up the lead.
We'll get our 8-2 on Swaggy P. Get him hooked up the next time. Crawford pull-up 3. Short. Green clears. Quick release. Swaggy P denied. Brewer with the change. Bivouac chipping away. Back within 4.
Yeah, Swaggy P needed a pump fake on that. If he didn't see Gerald Green was flying at him, probably not a good shot selection.
Miller nearly lost it. Miller. One-legged fade. Good for Quincy Miller.
Come on, Quincy Miller loves to talk trash all over there in the stands, getting some love from Ice Cube, but he better get back on defense because Gerald Green said, check up. While you over there talking trash, I'm getting buckets. I love this. I love this matchup between the two of those guys because they're very competitive. Green versus you have Quincy Miller. Those two constantly going at it. Oh, Crawford. This is the layup.
Here's Brewer to the rim. Mistimed it. Rebound to Green. They can tie with a 3. Green does. Or knock it up. That's 21.
You know the saying when you gotta let sleeping dogs lie? Like Quincy Miller woke up Gerald Green, and you don't want to see him from 3-point as well. Now there's a fight happening out here on this side.
That's
We
Garland
have
Green.
Garland
Gerald's
Green,
brother.
who's the brother of Gerald Green. Yeah, that's they are at the top of the screen. Watch them. They are battling, pushing, shoving. And folks at home, don't get nervous. This is serious. Every team is taking this personal because there's not a lot of games. You have to get the advantage, so every single possession counts.
Man, what has gotten into Quincy Miller? 3 threes. Scored 11. Garland Green, banker missed, but a free throw coming up at 24-21 for the enemies.
Well, when you look at it, the tension is high out here, and why? Half-court basketball, there's not a lot of space. It's very physical. Even though you guys are looking from home, it's a very physical game, and tensions run high. But you're always hoping, I think, and like I tell my team, the cooler heads will prevail. You have to really stay calm even though you're in the midst of a fight.
So it makes the league great, the intensity between the lines, the fun when the game's over, right?
Oh, definitely. And these guys hang out. Listen, everybody stops and has a good time. We are definitely a show that we take on the road, you know, as a Big Three family, but it is no love lost when it's game time.
Doc Crawford wants to call. Young missing, Green the rebound. Gerald Green, one-on-one. Into the lane, to the rim, look down low. Brewer takes us to the break. Bivouac with the lead by 1.
That was a great cut, but that's Crawford's fault. Crawford's so busy fussing with the official that he's not playing defense anymore. And guess what happens? The game goes on. Corey Brewer does a nice job of cutting to the basket. There you have Crawford standing still upset about the last play. And guess what? Bivouac has taken the lead.
With the halftime kiss from Brewer and Brooklyn at the break. Bivouac by 1. We'll be right back to recap what happened, discuss the second half after this. You're watching the Big Three.
Reach up, now you're old man. I know you're tired of being grown man. So baby girl, what would I be without you? I only think about you. I know you're tired of being old man. So baby girl, put it on man. What would I be without you? I only think about you. I know you're tired of being old man. So baby girl, I need your help on this.
Lady Liberty on this Sunday, beautiful day in New York. Bivouac by 1 the break against the enemies. Welcome back to Barclays Center here in Brooklyn. We're on with Lisa Leslie, a great crowd today here in New York for week number 3.
This has been so exciting. We have Ja Rule out there rapping right now for the crowd, but the game has been outstanding. And I love the competition, the back and forth, whether it's been the three-point shooting or just the physicality on the inside end.
Well, it's been real, if you will, a Ja Rule reference for the enemies, Jordan Crawford.
Jordan Crawford came out just attacking the basket, and I love the fact that he pulled the defense out, but guess what? The free ball was dropping for Crawford from the outside. Then he got in his bag with this nice step back. jumper, but you know what? Bivouac did a nice job of responding because it looked like they weren't ready, but guess what? Corey Brewer stepped in, nice drive to the basket and dunk and finish. The defensive stop with the block shot there allowed Corey Brewer to score on the inside, and then they decided to bring the fire, and guess what? Corey Brewer said, not today, not today.
Here are the numbers, first half stats. Brewer 12, Proctor with 13 for the enemies. The Brewer, so you can appreciate this, wins 2 titles in college, wins a championship in Dallas. Bring that winning mentality that can help a team try to get to the playoffs for the first time.
Absolutely. Corey Brewer, it was the player that actually hurt us in week 1. It wasn't just his ability to score from the outside, but it's his defensive plays and his hustle. He allows Bivouac to get second and third chance opportunities, and in this league, that can really hurt you. He'll also use his body, which is a very thin body, but he uses it, which gets to the free throw line. And again, it's a huge advantage when any team in the Big Three gets to shoot a free throw because that one free throw gets you 2 points as well.
But Ja Rule putting on a performance at the break for this crowd in Brooklyn.
Yes, Ja Rule. This is where it's happening, folks. It's the Big Three. It's a full party. Great out here in Brooklyn. Hope you guys check out the schedule, and if we come to a city near you, we hope to see you. Come on out. All love to the Big Three.
Leads to 50 years of hip-hop. Big Three, its first 50 wins, so we got time.
There you go, 50 and 50.
Nice view of his plan, showing the Bronx Yankee Stadium in August, one of the headliners, which should be a great day at Yankee Stadium. One of the headline acts, big festival to celebrate the 50 years of hip-hop. Standings in the Big Three. Those smallest play later gets the Mohawks trying to become the only 3-0 team after 3 weeks.
Well, you know, it's been a tough league. As you can see, everybody is fighting for their lives. Those Ballers, the only undefeated team still left out there. Aliens 0-2 looking for their first win. And Three's Company came up with their first win today. So it's going to be a battle to the end. We are all trying to get to London, listen, for the championship.
Oh, yes.
And just know the triplets, we have that marked on our calendars, and we're doing everything we can as well to try and get there.
History in the Big Three, first ever final being tested in Europe. Thomas a couple of years ago, but going across the Atlantic coming up in late August.
That'll be exciting. And, you know, listen, all these guys, we love to do that. We love to go overseas and have an opportunity to introduce the Big Three, you know, across the waters. But it's a long road. Every team wants to get there, and it's a battle. And that's why it's so competitive every single possession, folks.
Bivouac by 1, beginning this half. Brewer, Green, both Greens, Harlan and Gerald for Bivouac against Stewart, Crawford, and Miller in New Austin for the enemies. Gerald Green pulls up for 3. Stewart for Crawford.
Oh, these two guys with this matchup, I love it.
Too much. Brewer with the board.
Yeah, Crawford, too much of a shot. But I just love to see the matchup. You can't get away from it in the Big Three.
Brewer with the runner.
Brewer came off and said he's too small with the left. I love it.
Trash talk, A+ so far.
A+. You got GP over there. Oh, there's
Stewart, the crossover and the stop.
and the takeoff. Come on, Trojan. Show them what you can do. You got to be careful. That's one thing about the Big Three. Allow the younger players in, so you got to be careful because some of these guys can still take serious flight. You will get dunked on.
Miller nearly the swipe. Brewer short. Stewart pumps too much. A 1-point game early in this half. Green nails it. It's a 3 for Gerald Green.
You got to know Gerald Green loves the left side of the floor. He can knock down that 3 any of those spots as well as falling out of bounds. So you really got to do a better job of closing him out if you don't want to see him. But look, he's in it. He's
For
out
4.
here.
Stewart tip, no. Miller, third try, yes, and a foul.
And a foul. That was a good 4-point attempt. And again, the 4-pointer, I don't always recommend, but it is a lovely shot when you make it. As Stewart takes off. You have to be careful defensively to not allow him to get by you because he still has so much quickness to get to the basket.
The spirit of Troy, right?
That's it. Fight on. Victory till the end. Never give up. Never die.
I've got the bands in my head. Carlin Green, Sasha Miller. Tied at 30. In this fourth game of the day. Crawford. Throw a good defense. Turn around. Stewart kept it alive. Miller has made 3 threes. Not there. Green bumps. Step through. Gonna shoot free throw for 2.
Bivouac's doing a nice job of just staying aggressive. This is the part where, you know, when you get to the second half, fatigue starts to set in a little bit because of all the physicality. GP not happy, looking at his team, just wondering if they're executing or is he happy? You just never know with GP. Is he happy with what they're doing or not happy about the execution? But I think overall they're making a very good effort. And second chance points, that's what you want to see with your team. You may miss the basket, but it's that second chance opportunity, and his team's doing a good job of getting to the 50-50 balls.
I feel like Garrett Payton could trademark the arms crossed look. Mastered it with Bivouac. Crawford, too much. Brewer clears. There's Garland Green against Miller. Fadeaway is good in that sweet spot in the middle of the lane.
Well, Miller has to also recognize when you have 2 brothers out there, when you mess with one, you're going to have to see the other. So that time you had Garland Green really stepping it up, taking it to Quincy Miller, because remember in the first half, he's the one who was picking on his brother. He's like, oh, you want to mess with my brother? Okay, come get this. You don't want to see us because it's 2 of us, brother.
Garland's got game for Bivouac right now. The enemy's down 5 at 34-29. Austin, you miss that presence right now, trailing this half.
Well, that's what I was talking about, Ed. When you don't have a presence like Isaiah Austin with his 7-foot wingspan and just being out there on the floor, being able to, draw out the defense with his ability to shoot the 3-ball or put the ball on the floor, his back to the basket, he is missing it. And this is where you're going to see the absence of him really show up for the enemies, because it's always that second half where stamina starts to really come in, how well you play. Quincy Miller loves to shoot the 3-ball, but he's one of the bigs. He's going to have to get down there on the block, and everybody don't want to get down there and get dirty at the block.
You know better than anybody.
That's right. The paint is where the money is made, but everybody don't want it.
Enemies with the ball. Stewart on a fadeaway. Too much. Off the heel to Green. Green with 16 already. Fadeaway 3. That's no good. Brewer skying in there. It's going to stay with the enemies.
Well, here, Ed, is where if I was the coach of either of these teams, take the ball to the basket. Everybody's settling for jumpers and falling in love with that. And yeah, it's a great shot, but what about getting to the basket? What about getting a foul? That's what you want to see. Change the momentum of the game. And here Crawford is listening to me, trying to attack the basket. And now he gets an opportunity. Well, they get the ball back. He didn't shoot it. I would have shot that ball, though, right on the drive here. Right here on when he picks it up, just throw it up to the basket. You're already getting fouled. But it was on the ground.
It was right in front of us. I feel like he may have heard your pleading to go to the basket there. Right on cue. Elisha Stewart with Quincy Miller. Jordan Crawford against Green. Both Greens and Brewer. 4-point shot. Well short. Brewer relocates. Corner tray. Air ball. Miller with the change and stuff.
Well, the air ball really is a gut check, because anytime there's an air ball, the other team can just shoot it. So you want to make sure you're taking good shots.
34-31 Bivouac. Gerald Green, no. Miller, another 3. Man, really good early, but we'll keep checking since. Stewart air ball.
Well, both teams really falling in love with the 3-ball. Both teams falling in love with the 3-ball. And right now, it's going to be the team that decides to take that ball to the basket to be the aggressor, maybe try and get to the foul line.
Lisa, last week, enemies in their win. Made 23 shots, had a total of 2 assists. That's almost hard to do. Yeah, they isolate, but hey, they got the win against the Ball Hogs in a thriller.
Well, they may need to watch the Aliens, which a team who hasn't won yet, but play a really nice style of Euro ball, moving that ball around. It's going to be important. How much you share it, you're more likely to have more success.
Off the miss. Garland Green against Stewart. Wow, put on the brakes and finishes.
Well, it's just that, Ed. The team that takes the ball to the basket is going to give themselves and put themselves in an opportunity to score buckets. Right now, 3 balls not falling is not the only option you have.
Miller, no. There's Green. Jab step, 3. Miss. Crawford, the cleanup. Got it. And a foul.
All right, so I'm not going to say I told you so, but I told y'all. Doing a nice job. Garland Green did a great job. Penetrating to the basket, pump fake. Stewart goes flying. Bucket.
Those stats supporting you. Both teams each 1 of 11 from 3 this half.
Well, I mean, listen, the 3 ball saves us in the big 3 as well as the 4 ball. I love that. But if you see that your team's not scoring well, here's a time to take a step back, get to the basket, but now go to the free throw line. I can't hear you. Sometimes you're talking to me, but I can't hear you. I'm hearing you through this ear. Yeah, but how come I don't hear you through the mic?
One shot, right, Lisa?
Well, hey, that's the key. You want to make sure that you're giving up one shot and not allowing the team to get offensive rebounds and putbacks, because that takes just a little bit of deflation, just a little bit every single time. They're in a battle also. Those guys are exhausted on that side, so you want to take advantage of every single opportunity, and that also means one shot, one rebound.
Big game for both sides. Win, and they got 2. Remaining games on this Sunday here in Brooklyn. Killer threes against the Aliens. Aliens are 0-2. They really need that one. Ghost Ballers, they've never been 3-0, can get there with a win against the Ball Hogs.
Well, Ghost Baller is led by Mike Taylor. You know, one of the toughest teams. He's one of the toughest guys, one of the best hustlers, coached by the Iceman himself. You know, I'm sure their goal is to go 3-0. And, you know, Ball Hogs, they're looking for a win. So that's going to be a great game. I'm just lucky we get to sit over here, Ed, and we're like courtside and talk about the game.
You get a win earlier today against Tri-State. Big victory for the triplets.
Huge.
Always special, any league, but the Big Threes had a great run of history in this building. Barclays Center, back in New York, and it's one of the highlights every year when they travel.
Yes, the Brooklyn crowd, everybody's been so great. People that are working here behind doors, everybody. As Garland Green knocks down the three-point shot, the Brooklyn crowd, amazing. Like, it's always great to have this type of support for the victory, and I'm really proud of Ice Cube and what he's been able to accomplish for this league to be so successful.
Look at Miller. Against Garland Green, taken away. Brewer. Green to the rim, scores!
That's a nice cut. Good, again, Corey Brewer causes that turnover with his defense that leads to the bucket by Green.
Stewart on a fadeaway, got it.
And I like that move for Stewart. Going to the basket, nice little short jumper. The mid-range game, sometimes guys forget about it. It's either a 3 or a layup, but a mid-range game, a 2 is a 2.
41-36, Bivouac. Brewer, yes, got the bounce. It's been a real steady hand, hasn't he?
Well, I feel like the team that is really recognizing that you don't just want to settle for the 3, but doing a nice job of putting pressure on the defense in the mid-range game. Again, Crawford there attacking, which is great. Enemies are going to have to find a way to close this gap now, because it starts to get further and further away the longer that they just stand and take threes, as opposed to attacking the basket and trying to get to the free throw line and possibly get some easy points.
Well, to your point, Bivouac with their 4th foul. Enemies only 1. Enemies down 7. Now it's time, right?
Absolutely.
Got to get in the bonus.
And what that means, if they're able to get into the bonus, they'll get a chance to shoot the free throw. If they make it, they'll also get the ball back.
Nice swipe. Stewart. Crawford with the steal.
Nice defensive effort by the enemies to end up with that quick basket. Here they need a defensive stop.
Green hesitate to the rim. Runners good. And the foul.
Okay. So we see Garland Green stepping up. He's stepping up, attacking the basket. And this is important. Miller pushes him in the back, but Green does a nice job of staying focused on the basket and finishing on the inside.
Green with 19, a game high. Bivouac with point game.
Well, that's what the beauty is of Bivouac, because you focus so much on Gerald Green, who's an outstanding shooter, can knock down the 3, but his brother is having an outstanding season thus far.
They can win with a 4. Green, off his brother. Green against Miller. Green, fadeaway jumper, got it! To beat the shot clock, they're within 2.
And I love that Green didn't try to shoot the 4 ball, just taking his time. That's Garland Green, taking his time, because a 2 is all you need. Taking 2 points at a time. Sometimes that 4 team try to go for it a little bit too much, which is something that we did against Bivouac and lost the game.
Crawford will get a shot for 2. But Crawford Green with the big performance down the stretch, and now he's going to bring the fire.
Absolutely, and Brewer told him to bring the fire, which you love when your player is like, hey, that wasn't a foul, I want to play him one-on-one. The problem is Crawford has so much in his repertoire, whether it's his ability to drive and get to the basket or the step-back 3, you never know any of these buckets.
Crawford pulls up, hits it.
There you go, the best offense versus the best defense. Sometimes you never know. Gave Crawford an opportunity to get hot.
Point game for Bivouac. Brewer held up, lost it, gets it back. No, second effort, 0 for 2. Enemies still alive. Miller bumped. Brewer the steal. Miller kept it alive. Crawford slips. Stewart, no!
Oh, he missed the layup with 1.1 second on the clock. Oh my goodness.
Gerald Green missed it short.
And And this is the tough part in the big three. When you're trying to go for the win, it looks simple just to make a basket, and the defense is so outstanding that it's tough.
Oh, defense smooth. Enemies still alive.
This is the exciting part, Aaron.
Timeout.
Yes. And that's a very good timeout called by Nick Young because his players are tired. Again, missing Isaiah Austin, but here we go with Jordan Crawford with the nice finger roll. Shout out to Iceman with the finger roll.
This team's coming up, Ghost Ballers, a bit later against the Bulldogs. But you made the point, you're right there. You can feel the crowd, it's a point game, there's pressure, but you just need to get to the finish line.
Those last 2 points, I think, are the hardest 2 points to get. But the enemies, again, they're going to have to come up with several defensive stops if they want to win this game. But Bivouac, they need to do, the opposite. Take the ball to the basket, stay with it, and don't forget about the mid-range game. I'd like to see either Green brothers take this last shot, whether it's Gerald Green or Garland Green. I could see them doing an ISO, maybe going one-on-one. But what you don't want is to go against Corey Brewer as the defender. So they're going to have to do move that ball around to make sure.
Brewer, Garland Green, Gerald Green against Miller, Stewart, and Crawford for the enemies.
Oh, okay. Miller's going to have to, this is spreading out the floor. Miller's going to have to do an excellent job of playing some defense.
Brewer turns the corner, knocked away. Miller with the finish. How about Crawford with the steal?
Yeah, that's the defense I was talking about, but I didn't realize Miller was going to match up on Brewer. I was surprised that Brewer wasn't able to get around him.
Gerald Green pacing against Crawford. Green tipped it. Crawford, I think, got it last. Big call. Bivouac will hold on to it. 1 on the clock.
So let's see, there was a lot of contact there made. They wanted the foul, but inadvertently, okay, it's off the enemies. Came off the enemy's hands. Bivouac really wanted the foul call, but listen, this is the toughest part I think about the big three is the officials have a tough job to do. There's 3 of them. The game is physical. Some people want to play. You don't want to see touch fouls. And so they're in a tough position to do the best thing they can to call this game in a very small, space of watching them in just half court.
Garrett Payton, livid saying, let's go. No more stoppage. But they will correctly rule Bivouac ball, but only 1.9 on the 14.
1.9 on the clock. Either Bivouac wins it.
Rain for the win. Hit the rim, but missed. Brewer, Green the cut, and the slam dunk.
Nice.
The former slam dunk champ with the game winner in Brooklyn.
Taking the ball to the basket. That was a nice cut by Gerald Green getting to the basket. But you got to give a lot of credit to the enemies because they fought hard. They came back. They were undermanned without Isaiah Austin. But it was Corey Brewer driving to the basket. Nice cut by Gerald Green. And as you can see, it was that cut to the basket that opened it up and sealed the deal.
I thought he might go for the cupcake on the back of the rim like he did in 2008's Bivouac. They're 2-1, win a close game here against the enemies.
That was a great game, and when you think about, the enemies again, everybody fighting as hard as they could, but I thought they just ran out of gas. Great game by Bivouac, and they move on to 2-1.
Game 4 of 6 to Bivouac. 50-44 against the enemies here in Brooklyn. So 4 down and 2 left. More to come from Barclays Center right after this on this week 3 edition of Big 3 Basketball in the Big Apple.